a very young revolution, okay, and feminism deals with different aspects of life. It deals with everything from a woman's perspective, okay. So moving forward with the chapter, okay. So despite the advan okay. Despite the advances that were made through the critique of science in 1970s, gender-conscious accounts were rare. The social studies of natural sciences systematically avoided examining the relationship between gender and science in either its historical or sociological dimension. Okay, so what they are trying to say is there were very less studies regarding gender and science. Okay, but science was a study as a whole, so it did not see an matlab, for every subject like science or arts, the relationship with other sciences are very important. For natural sciences also, its relationship with social sciences becomes very important, okay. But for science, the relationship with gender studies was not very much, okay. People didn't really do much work on it, okay. So that's why, since the focus was not on gender and it was basically on an overall basis, which was basically masculine in nature, it became the situation became quite unfair for women's, okay. The concern with the gender analysis of scientific knowledge can be traced back to the women's health movement that developed in Britain and America during the 1970s. At the time, campaigns for improved birth control and abortion rights became central to the movement. The male medical theories regarding women's health and women's healing skills started being questioned. So, what happened in 1970s is a health movement started to rise, okay, among the women's. So the since we all know that women are capable of giving birth and not men, then during those times, the most of the doctors, I mean, like 99% of the doctors were male, okay? So they started to write books on women reproduction and the process of healing and everything. But it's weird in the way that men, it's it's very weird that men cannot be 100% correct about recovery skills after reproduction, because they themselves have not gone through it, right? So they are just depending on scientific facts and everything, but since they have not gone through that pain themselves, so they could not give an apt sort of definition for the healing and birth control, matlab birth given by women and everything, okay. So there was this health movement, okay, by the women, and they started to question the theories that male
Yes.
doctors or
Oh my
male
God.
health workers had given in regard of women reproductive system and everything, okay. Some
Yes.
of the feminists
Oh
came
my
up with
God.
the view that females are more in tune with
তোর জন্য
nature.
কালকে বাড়ি আসলি
Women's biological capacity for motherhood was seen as connected to an innate selflessness born of their responsibility for ensuring the continuity of nature. Nurturing and caring instincts are essential to the fulfillment of this responsibility. Okay, so most of the women during that time, not most of the women, but the feminists during those time came up with the view that women are very in tune with nature than men. Okay, so like we all know that the world is developing at a very fast pace. Okay, but the consequences is faced by the nature, right? Matlab, there are huge factories being set up, but the nature is deteriorating with deforestation going on and pollution and everything, okay. So we are developing in one hand, but on the other hand the price is being paid by nature, okay. So the feminists at during those time argued that women are more in tune with nature. So if women become industrialists or women become engineers or acquire any other higher skills, they will sort of take such measures to develop also and take care of the environment also at the same time, because women are blessed with motherhood and they have this caring and nurturing characteristics with them. Okay, so feminists at that time started arguing that women are more in tune with nature than male counterparts. Okay, from the feminist perspective, equality could be achieved by breaking down gender stereotypes. For instance, by giving girls better training and more varied role models, and by introducing equal opportunity programs and anti discrimination legislation. Okay, the first approach, uh, that is liberal feminism, was based on empiricist view of science neutral, that's gender neutral. Okay, by the late 1970s, however, a new form of radical feminism. Radical means to change something drastically in a political manner. Okay, so what happened during those times is women started to make movements, and they started to pressurize the government to pass such laws, that were in favor of the women. Okay, so by the late 1970s, however, new form of radical feminism or cultural feminism, as it is known in North America, had emerged, which exalted femininity for its own sake. The writer emphasizes gender differences and celebrate what they see as specifically feminine, such as women's greater humanism, pacifism, nurturance, and spiritual development. Okay, so before these feminist movements started to come up and everything, women was just considered to be someone who manages the house, who does the cooking and household chores and takes care of the child. Basically they were like child producing machines sort of thing. Okay, they were considered like that. But after this movement, you know so after this movement, the feminists emphasized on the nurturing aspect. Women started to be good to the world if they started to work in different fields, and if they were given trainings to encourage them into joining different services and different industries or any sort of other work other than housework. Okay, while there has been a growing interest in the relationship of science to society over the last decade, there has been an even greater preoccupation with the relationship between technology and social change. Okay, so basically, what they are trying to say is that how technology has influenced social change. Okay, so we all agree to the fact that our society is ever changing from time immemorial, and we also know that the pace of this change drastically increased from during the time of industrial revolution. So the feminists also in their studies have focused on the influence of technology on women. They have been debates while the White said that the advancement in technology is radically transforming society and delivering it to a post-industrial age. Okay, so one of the writers is saying that the advancement in technology. Okay, so we all know that. We were at a stage of pre-industrialization, but after the 1870s, when industrial revolution took place, we passed the threshold and became an industrialized economy. Okay, so now since the everything is changing in a very fast manner, and a lot of advancements are happening in the technological world, now we are sort of entering the post industrial age. Okay, so, a major concern of feminists has been the impact of new technology on women's lives, particularly women's work. Okay, the recognition that housework was also work led to the studies on how the increasing use of domestic technology in the home affected the time spent on housework. Okay, so after these feminist movement, even housework was considered work. Okay, so before what most of the people just 5 or 6 years ago, uh, they used to say whoever does not work and stay at home, they were considered to be housewife, right? But nowadays a new term has evolved, and that is homemaker. Okay, so whenever nowadays, if the husband is working and the woman stays at home, the woman is not called a housewife, she is preferred to be called a homemaker, because housework is also considered work. Okay, The exploitation of the third world women as a source of cheap labor for the manufacture of computer components was also looked upon. So, as we studied in the fourth or fifth chapter, in the chapter related to industrial revolution, women were cheap labor at that time because they were unskilled. Okay, so they did not have any proper training of their own. So that's why they were exploited. Okay, when men started to, you know, go against their capitalist and started to fight for a wage raise or something, so they were substituted by women and children at that time, and they were exploited for lesser wage. Okay, so all these things started to come up. Okay, all these things were looked upon after the feminist studies and feminist movement started to come up. Okay, throughout these debates, there has been a tension between the view that technology would liberate women. Okay, so now technology has helped us towards a better future, right? But the some of the writers say that, technology has they also fear that technology would liberate women. Okay, they are saying in the sense that now women have access to all the contraceptions. Okay, they can use birth control measures whenever they want, and they can, do abortion if they want to, if it's legal in their countries. Okay, so otherwise, nowadays, very recent, in the recent modern world, they can also freeze their eggs. Okay, and use it later on. Okay, so all these technological developments in the field of childbirth and birth control thing has sort of liberated the women. It has given power to the women. Okay, because now they can decide that, they want to focus on their career first, and then they want to become mothers later on. Okay, so the technological advancement in this field has liberated the women adversely. Okay, from unwanted pregnancy, from housework, and from routine paid work, and the view of the most new technologies are destructive and oppressive to women. Example developments in birth control, like I've already said, held the key to women's liberation through removing from them the burden of biological motherhood. Okay. So yesterday also I gave you an example. Okay, if there are two scientists, a male and a woman, so suddenly she becomes pregnant. Okay, so she has to give up on her career and everything, but nowadays they have this birth control measures, and they have this all these scientific technological advancement. So the woman has the choice of becoming a mother later on also. Okay, she can choose to become a mother whenever she wants. Okay, initial difficulty in considering feminist commentary on technology arises from its failure to distinguish between science and technology. Okay, feminist writing on science has often construed science purely as a form of knowledge, and this assumption has been carried over into much of the feminist writing on technology. So, okay, so this chapter basically deals with the uh, you know uh, it's like a sort of we it's like a introduction to feminism. Okay, what feminists have done, and what sort of a work they have done. If you go through the chapters, there are lots of feminist names mentioned in the chapter who have worked on a numerous of things that were. Okay, now again Sweta wants to join. Okay, so
Ma'am, he is not
yeah.
from our class. He is not our classmate. Please don't join him.
Oh, oh, I have already added him. Okay, he left also. Anyways, good for him or her. So, okay, so you all understood this chapter, right? So wait, okay. So to conclude, this chapter is based basically on the important works of feminists, okay, that have been done for the upliftment of women around the world. It focuses on how technology and science has been masculine in nature, and unless this biasness still exists in the society, there is very little room for general development of women. We all need to work towards change in our thoughts regarding the gender-based functions which are made to believe by the society, and then only we can expect equal participation of women in every other field. Okay, So you just go through this chapter. So basically what happened in this chapter is like I was giving you an example of your own class where you have like 90% are boys and only 10% are girls, okay? But if you go to the arts section, it's the number is quite same, okay? Sometimes the female students are more than male students if you go to arts department of our university only, okay? So there is not much of a differentiation that was made between men and women in the social science sections from before only, okay? Because if you study social sciences like history, geography, sociology, philosophy, and all the other arts subject, uh, you know you can either become a teacher, or you can become the most common example I'm giving, okay? I'm not trying to say that only these are the things you can become. So most of the time when you study arts, you can become teacher, or you can go for competitive exams, okay? And bank jobs and so many other things, okay? But from before only, there has not been much discrimination for male and women in the field of arts, okay? Because uh, the if you look at your school also, there could be equal amount of male teachers and female teachers, okay? But when we look at science, there is always this huge margin between male and female counterparts, okay? Even if you go to a medical school, though nowadays female doctors are at a rise, but still the male number is a little higher. And in engineering sections also, the male number is a little higher, okay? And if you want to become scientist and all also, the male number is always a little higher, okay? So that is why this in this chapter they are basically discussing feminism and its relationship to science and technology. Okay, so over here I end the fifth chapter also. Okay, do you all have any questions?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, will only facts be asked in our exams, or would we also be asked to comment on a particular
Okay, which
situation?
section are you in? A or B?
B.
Oh, okay. I haven't sent the previous questions to your CR. I'll just send it today. Okay. So you can have a look at, what sort of questions will come. Okay. So I think I've sent it to section A, but still I'll send it again so that you all will have a general idea. Okay. So what I feel is the questions will not be very facts based, okay? Since it's an art subject, I prefer students understanding the topic and writing it in their own words rather than mugging it up and, just writing it down. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, if we are asked to comment on something, are we, do we have the freedom to support it or go against it, or does it have to be
Yes, yes,
only along with
obviously,
it?
yes. Obviously, you can support it and go against it. Matlab, you have to write it in such a way that, in my opinion, this, then I will always encourage those sort of a viewpoint. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Ma'am, as there is time, you please start the topic on feminism, the debate,
Oh, the no,
Indian beliefs and
actually,
feminism. As there is time today, ma'am, please start it.
okay, okay. So yesterday we were okay. One thing is there that I have to be somewhere. Okay, so I will leave the class exactly at 2 today. Okay, so I can't extend any further than 2. So yesterday what we were
Ma'am, then don't
discussing.
start today. If not, the discussion will carry on.
No, no, I'll just end it at 2, and we can continue in the next class also.
No,
So
ma'am, we have time. We have time, ma'am. We
yes,
have
yes,
time
yes,
today.
yes.
There are no
So
classes after this.
no, no, but I have to leave at 2. I have to be somewhere. That's why. Anyways, so yesterday, since this is a very important and a very interesting topic about feminism, okay, so we all were hoping that the few girl students of this class could say something about it regarding this chapter for now. Okay, would you like to speak? Anybody?
Ma'am, I consider feminism to be male bashing, and it has got no objective. It just
Mhm.
wants to be in the women just want to be in the limelight, and that's why they indulge in such nonsense.
Okay, okay, that's your opinion. Fine. No, no. What happens nowadays is no. Uh, Feminism is actually about equality, right? Equal rights for women also. But there, if you read this chapter properly, there are different forms of feminism also. Some are radical feminist, some are liberal feminist, and some are extreme feminist. Okay, so it falls on different categories. Some of
Ma'am,
them are, yeah, some of, wait, some of them are just talking about equality, and some of them tend to go overboard and talk about male bashing and things. Okay, so you have to understand it, and have a unbiased sort of view. Okay, so you can just learn a little about feminism from the liberal feminists who do not go to extreme measures to prove their point and everything. Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes,
there are certain extreme feminists. Okay,
yes, yes,
a few days back, a incident had happened
yes,
where a girl had accused a boy for raping case. Actually, it
yes,
was a
yes.
fake case, but
Fake, yes.
the boy was accused very much from the neighbors, from the high court, from
Yes,
every sectors of the society.
yes.
But after the judge decision, it was proved that it was all fake news.
Fake
So
news.
the boy's career was almost flopped, but the
Yes,
girl's career was not flop. Why this is?
yes,
This must there must be equality. If equality we are speaking, then the girl must also be accused. But the
yes,
more punishment will be given for false allegations.
yes. Yeah, actually, you can. I always tell you, there is no black and white. Okay, we always have to live in this gray matter. Okay, so people tend to become very very much aggressive with all these things. We tend to forget that we have to listen to both the sides. Okay, there are lots of women who have taken advantage of all the laws that are for women. Okay, so and yeah, matlab, we are starting feminism, but there is no guarantee that all women are good women, right? Some of them can use all these laws and use to their advantage. They can get involved with a boy, and then start to blackmail him regarding all these sort of things. Those things are happening. Some of them are taking advantage. Okay, so we cannot do anything about it from our perspective, but then people who are involved over there should at least look. If there is a rape happening in some sort of a place, the police should sort of inquire properly for the victim and for the accused also, because like you told over here, the accused person was actually innocent, right? So it's the police's call to check his background and everything, and to give a fair decision about that. Okay, so we as the common citizens of our country should not get involved in, matlab, we can do protest and everything, but we should not go and beat that person up without having a proper understanding. Okay, just from rumors we cannot, you know we cannot declare that person to be criminal until and unless the court declares it. We should not take matters in our hands, I believe. Okay.
But ma'am, the thing is that reputation gets spoiled. Like Proshun
That
talked
is
about
there,
that,
Yes, yes.
that
that is
reputation
there.
gets spoiled.
Yes,
So if even if we say that we as citizens should not interfere and the law
yes,
should
yes,
take the call, but the thing is
yes,
that the psychological effect which it has on the person because of what others think about him
yes, yes.
is something which cannot be restored.
Yes, but this can, by discussing over here, we cannot come up with our answer also, no?
For example, there are
Yeah,
certain incidents about extreme feminists. They have
yes,
pointed out the dispute in the logo of Mintra as well.
Mintra.
Mintra logo
Okay,
as well, where
what is the
nobody
Mintra
has
logo?
pointed out. And for our example of fake feminism is Kangana
Yes,
Ranawat.
yes. Okay, okay. Yes, that is there. I'm telling you, if there is an idea about feminism,
Bro,
there are
Kangana in
people.
dustbin.
Yeah. So the okay, I think Sweta, you should change your name and write your original name over here if you belong to this class. Anyways, so I'm saying there is always an extreme and a liberal point to everything, okay? So there are some feminists who take, matlab, it's a simple thing, no? If you pick up like two people, like Prasun from one class and Deb Malia from this class together, and if you put them in some sort of a situation, there since they are individuals, okay, they will have a different reaction to the same situation, obviously, okay. So it's the same for everybody out there. Getting my point?
Ma'am, feminism
Yeah.
is like the caste system, ma'am. It should reach the
it,
correct people. It's not reaching
yes,
the correct people. That is why the problem is arising.
yes. And you know, we over here, we are dealing with society which has a huge population, okay. So it's very difficult to reach the correct people and everything. For reservation also, I
But
told you,
that
know,
girl,
last time.
but that girl is moving about in the society very freely. But the boy
Mhm.
is not able to move about in the society as well. The girl must be accused.
Yes, but I feel that the person belonging, the people around belonging to that society should, you know, take the court's final call as the thing, and you know, start to have acceptance. That's all I can say for now. Actually, what happens? No, women, human beings are a very interesting creature in this point, okay. So why they have accused the, you know, there was in this instance only, there was this girl and a boy, and the girl accused the boy of rape, okay. So in the society, people are very scared and protective of their family, okay. So they start to ignore this person, discriminate this person, because they have the fear that the same thing might happen to their family, okay. So human beings are very selfish in nature. When it comes to their own security and everything, they will, you know, they will not leave any stones unturned, okay. In the first class also, when I was having an interactive session with section A people, somebody, I don't remember the name, somebody told me that, you know, his family was had become COVID positive, and you know, their
Me,
relatives.
it was me.
You are, yes, Arijit Ghosh, right? So you know, your family and neighbor. So I'll just tell the section B people that Arijit Ghosh's family was COVID positive at that time, and they were, you know, sort of being differently
Treated.
behaved by, yeah, treated by their family, other cousins and relatives, okay. So actually, if you look at that point, all those neighbors and your cousins don't have anything against you in personal, okay, but they are so scared about their own selves and their family. They are so insecure that they will get the disease. They start to react in a very unusual manner, very unacceptable manner. Got it? So all these, because they don't have anything against you personally, but they have this fear that, you know, they might become COVID positive themselves, and they might die, and they have to be protective for their families and their children's and their old age people. So they sort of become very harsh towards the people in need, actually, okay. So the same thing happens to all these rape victims who are accused falsely also, okay. So they are treated in a very bad manner. They, you know, even though they are proven non guilty by the court, they are still faced with those sort of a discrimination, because humans are very